I would consider myself a product launch expert to the degree that I've made negative money, lost money on product launches. I've made upwards of $3.3 million on product launches in a matter of a 2-month runway. Money flows where attention is. And so
y'all better write that.
Your dollar is in your difference.
Woo!
Your dollar is in your difference. Because where people get it twisted is they begin to think, well, I've got to do something different. That's where people go wrong. Because if you try to go find something different that no one else is doing, you got to now ask the question, why isn't anyone doing this? More than likely
it's probably not working.
Nobody wants it. Framework here is not to find something different. It's actually to find something that everybody's already doing and you be different. Key in a successful online business is teaching people how to do what you did easier and faster. That's the success point.
Hey, listen, this ain't for y'all, this for me. To the Faith Hustle podcast, where we help young Christian entrepreneurs learn how to build their business and careers God's way. My name is McQuindan. I'm your host. I've been an entrepreneur for almost 10 years, and I've had the joy to be mentored and guided by not just successful business owners, but people who love the Lord and love their families and had a holistic view of success. And that's what we are striving for here on Faith Hustle. We teach on 5 pillars. One of them being integrity, being spirit-led, having a heart of stewardship, humility, and generosity. Those are the things that we are striving to be and to build within us as entrepreneurs. And so if that describes you as something that you're also chasing, we encourage you to tap in with us, subscribe to the podcast, wherever you listen to audio-wise, whether it be Apple or Spotify or Amazon, and on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and get plugged in to what all the conversations that we're having here. We also encourage you, if you've been enjoying the podcast so far, would you leave us a review? It really helps us. It helps get the show out to more people. And yeah, we're excited for what all God's doing through this podcast. And on today's episode, we have literally a legend in the online space, in media and all things. We have Jamal Miller.
Thanks, man.
The man, the myth, the legend. Thank you for coming here, man of God.
Bro, it's an honor, and I'm excited to see what God has to say to help so many people expand their thinking and go beyond what they know right now. So it's going to be fun. Come
on. We got introduced by a good friend of mine, Zach Morgan, if you're watching this. Thank you for connecting us. And we had a lot of conversations about business and life over the past few months. I've got to be in your home and honestly got to witness they're just machines. But also what I loved was I had a glimpse. They did a masterclass for your wife's ministry called Women. And it was amazing to see. It was about a 5-day virtual masterclass, and how they conducted it, just, their intentionality, their strategy behind it was phenomenal. But what I loved about it was that, your family was a part of it. You've built in such a way where you did it in your home. It wasn't taking away from your family. Your kids were literally seeing you guys walk this out, ministering to people, helping people, but it being a business. And I just thought, man, that's what I'm wanting. And I know a lot of people would want that too. And so, man, I love to hear your story. You're a CFNI grad, alumni. You were just there, just speaking just now. But I'd love to just hear your story of, kind of the origins of this, from kind of ministry into business. And honestly, what I know you believe that there's not really a difference in that. And so I'd love to just kind of get the origins, then we're going to jump right in.
Come on, man. I love it. So it's an honor, to be able to do what we do. And I'm just excited that God would choose to use me to be someone that will help to reset the paradigm.
Yeah.
That I believe that he wants his believers in all that desire to fulfill the call of God upon their life to have regarding ministry and marketplace. I think for so long there has been, what we've kind of stepped into is a form of idolatry with ministry, to where we feel this call to ministry or called to serve God, but immediately we begin to think within the context of the local church. And we don't think, oh, I received a call from God, now I'm going to go start a business. Like, it's like immediately, okay, I'm either called to preach, I'm either called to be a missionary, or I'm called to, serve at, local youth ministry or something like that to that degree. And I just love that God is now expanding people to think outside the box. And I wish I could say that expansion happened easily for me.
Right.
It didn't.
Yeah.
It did not. God had to hurt me out of that paradigm.
Come on.
And sometimes that's what happens where we don't want to go with God. We do want to go with what we think, which is tradition, right? That is the, tradition is like, no, this is how it's been done. This is how I'm going to do it.
Right.
Because this makes sense to me.
Right.
But we know that God's ways are higher. So I say that to say, for me, it was at the age of 16 that I really got serious about God. I came from a semi-Christian home where my mom was saved. My dad wasn't. So I didn't see God glorified, worshiped in my home, but I did go to church every Sunday, every Wednesday. So I was able to see God on display there. But I would say that my relationship with God did not happen until one night. I was, at this point, not to date me, my age. I know I look young, but there was no Netflix and chill at this point. All right, Netflix was not created yet. Okay, it was
Blockbuster.
It was VHS and chill. Okay,
Blockbuster and chill.
Blockbuster and chill. We had not even Blockbuster. It was National Video. Okay,
National Video. Was it Hollywood Video at the time?
Hollywood Video. Yeah, all of them videos. There was no Redbox. There was no Netflix. This is how old or older I am. And so VHS and chill was in, and a young lady was at my house, and you can use your imagination, in terms of what's about to happen this night. So we were all alone. And I remember this moment beginning to advance. And man, I just felt the conviction of the Holy Spirit hit me. And I told her, like, hey, we can't do this.
Yeah.
We can't do this. And so I kick her out of my house. And I said, hey, you need to leave. This is not good. It's not right. I don't feel good about this. And so she leaves. And I remember just getting on my knees before God and saying, God, like, I don't know what you have planned for me. I don't even know if you are real. I just know that I want to be different. And when I say be different, my dad had his first kid at 16.
Wow.
And so that hit me.
Oh, man.
That in that moment, I could be living
just like, same path.
And so I get on my knees before God, and I said, do what you got to do.
Wow.
And no preacher, no piano, no choir, no angel coming down from the sky, just the pure presence of God came in my room.
Wow.
And wrapped me up in my arms, in his, in the arms of God, and I felt his love. And that's what started this just radical commitment to a relationship with God. I started a Bible study at my high school, because in my mind, I'm like, all y'all saying y'all believe in God, but do y'all know him? Do you really know him? So we started a Bible study, and man, over the course of 2 years of the Bible study at my high school, we saw over 300 students come to know Christ. We facilitated it was 4 different Bible studies happening at different periods, so we raised up other students to manage other studies.
Different locations. And, y'all multi-locations.
Multi-site Bible study on, because I can only do one because I only had one lunch period. But I had to facilitate in the other lunch periods that we had other students that would facilitate the Bible study, so every student had a chance. And not only that, we had it where Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we would be upstairs in a classroom for Bible study during the lunch period. But Tuesdays and Thursdays, we would come downstairs into the lunchroom and evangelize. And all the students would spread out, and they would go to different tables and just strike up conversation about God. Man. It was beautiful. And that, for me, clearly was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
It's
like,
your setup,
I did not have any other desire. And what confirmed it was a lady at my church came to my mom, and she was like, hey, I had a dream about Jamal. And I had a dream that he would have an apostolic ministry that would touch the ends of the earth, right? And so you hear this, and so in my mind, I'm definitely thinking, okay, I'm going to have a church one day. That's the immediate,
it's the natural
progression is when you feel this call, you feel the call to ministry, and you don't think. I'll be honest, man, I never translated my call to business ever. So to skip, how did I get there? Clearly, I go to Bible college, get trained, get my degree in theology. Then I graduate CF&I, and at the time, I'm about to become a youth pastor at a church in Chicago. I take a position in church in Chicago, a new church plant, and I, start my ministry journey. And within that time frame, I went to the Lord, and I'm like, God, okay, I done I've been single for a while.
Yeah.
God, I have left my hometown and moved up here to Chicago to start ministry, to be obedient, to help this church grow. Father, I have gone to Bible college. I've gotten trained. I've gotten equipped. And most importantly, God, I have kept myself, Lord. Right? God, I have not been out here sowing my royal oats, Lord. I ain't been out here experimenting and, doing the thing, right?
Stay true to your word on your end.
So listen, God, I'm just showcasing
Where
to you.
is she?
Where my wife at, God? So I can do this thing legally.
Come
Praise
on
God.
now. And covenant.
I said, I'm sick and tired of this temptation. All right. Go ahead.
Temptation devil.
And man, that was I cried to God. And God said to me, Jamal, you're so focused on getting married, you have no idea what it takes to stay married.
Woo.
And I'm like, dang. Because I came from a broken home.
Yeah.
I never saw marriage displayed healthily. I never saw my mom and my dad do things that a biblical couple should do. Pray together, read the Bible together, do devotions together. None of that. Go to church together. Never saw any of that.
Wow.
So Jamal, how are you out here desiring something that you don't even know how to do? So I spent a year and a half going deep in learning how to be a married man.
Wow.
Before becoming a married man.
Yeah.
And out of that season, the quote that I kind of formed was, everything you do before you say I do is preparation for marriage.
Wow.
I got marriage mentors. I started reading marriage books. I started going to marriage conferences as a single man. And within that time frame, the Lord absolutely busted my paradigm of singleness.
Wow.
Because the idea that I had was that there was one perfect person out there for me. And if I found that perfect person, we would have the perfect marriage. The key to a perfect marriage is the perfect person.
That's what we think, or that's what we've been taught to think.
That as long as we find the right one, then I won't have to experience any craziness in marriage. Well, God completely obliterated that ideology. And this is a whole segment, clearly. But I stopped believing that there was only one person for me to marry and that there were many options and that it was me choosing with God. And that opened me up to stop being so religious. And I'll be honest, man, I was expecting my wife to meet her at the grocery store, and I would be getting the noodles, and she would be getting spaghetti sauce. And as I reach for the noodles, and she reaches for the sauce, our heads bump together. And once our heads bump together, then we look up and we see each other. My eyes meet her eyes, and then the archangel coming down from heaven, the lights of the grocery store go off. The angel of the Lord lightens us up and says, "For you two, I have called you to come together
for such a time as this."
Bro, when I tell you, I had this imaginary, mystical, big way that I thought God would bring me my wife. Because I'm like, God, I don't trust myself to choose.
No, 100%.
I need you to choose for me.
Come on.
And so, bro, that's the wrongest, farthest from the correct way to view it. So one day I'm scrolling on social media.
Come on, IG.
Scrolling on Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Come on now.
I see this beautiful black girl by the name of Natasha Sembrano at the time. And the cool part about the Sembrano was I was believing God for a biracial wife, black and Hispanic.
I didn't know she was Hispanic.
She's not.
Oh, she's not.
But I thought she was because of the last name Sembrano.
Yeah, you're like, okay, you answer my prayer.
No, she's got Trinidad and Tobagan roots. She black. She black.
Yeah,
She black, girl. And so, I was like, yo, this girl's beautiful. She's talking about Jesus.
Come on now.
So I sent her a DM, and just to kind of make a long story short, clearly it worked out. From that DM, we started to build a relationship. And what started our online business was once we got married, friends and family were like, where did he come from? Where did she come from? How did this happen? And so we were like, hey, instead of us trying to go do a world tour, telling them the story of how we met on Facebook, let's just put it on YouTube and send them the link. We did not do it for the goal of
building
an audience. Nothing. No.
Yeah.
So we filmed the story and put it on YouTube. We called it the Facebook Love Story. And it goes viral.
Dang.
And this is when things don't go viral.
Right.
This is like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When YouTube wasn't even like a big thing.
It'd be much harder to,
Yeah, to just get 40,000 views overnight. Like, it was like, boom. It was like, this is insane.
Dang.
So we didn't think about it until after marriage. But after marriage is when we were like, yeah, we should do something with this. And that's when we got the idea in the grocery store to launch a blog called Married and Young. And that was the beginning of us stepping into online business.
Gotcha. Man, what a story. At first, I thought you were going to say that Natasha, who I met, she's amazing. Love
She is.
I was like, she's Hispanic? I didn't know that. Because I met people who are Dominican, and you'd be thinking like, oh, I didn't know, But
funny.
but that is incredible One, just journey, and I mean, y'all got some dating and marriage gems that you didn't even know you came here for. But I love that, and I love that you guys you stumbled into it. It's funny. This has kind of been a revolving theme, even in the past few podcasts we've had, and I've said this quote before. I'll say it again. I listened to a podcast with Chris Hodges.
Nice. And
he said something really profound. You know, as big as Church of Highlands is, 20 plus campuses, all that stuff. He said that he's never set a numerical goal for his ministry.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He set health goals.
Yes, sir.
And they were more opportunist than strategic.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's a huge paradigm shift, because typically we want to, think, oh, that person got there because they were really smart and they thought really strategically, rather than being like, you know what? When you just follow God, you just follow the open door that it leads for you. You just keep taking those steps.
Yes, sir.
And it kind of takes the pressure off yourself, because it's like, you guys probably would have never thought of, like, you're just following the next step that makes the most sense, that you're kind of sensing the leading of the Holy Spirit. But I think that's encouraging for anybody, that, instead of comparing your story with somebody else of what you should do, like, just follow
Yes, sir.
the next thing you hear.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so cool. You stumbled upon a business, you stumbled upon, like, something that just started from a organic place of you guys just sharing your story and how it got to encourage people. I love to get into, what are some of the mechanics that you learned in that, and like why did you feel a draw to online specifically of doing it in that capacity?
Yeah, I feel like I wish I could say that it was extremely strategic and that I had like this crazy good, clear business plan of how we were going to do it, how we are going to build it. The reality is, bro, I did not have any business background. I've never sat in 1 hour of an official business school class. I don't have a degree in marketing. Wow. So I never ever was a chief marketing officer of a Fortune 5. Like, I don't have any pedigree in terms of what we've done. And so for me, it was extremely just the providence of God. Yeah. And as well, I would say just the concept of being an accidental entrepreneur. It was an accident that I became an entrepreneur. And so in terms of choosing online, it was just off of us posting that video, and which kind of comes into, what does it take to build a successful business, right? The first thing, y'all, is attention, right? Like, money flows where attention is. And so
y'all better write that.
Right. And so the concept of us putting our video on YouTube and getting that initial attention, right, was the beginning point of, okay, then from attention turns into an audience. Most people think, let's get an audience first. No. First, can you get an attention of a people and then now build them into an audience? And so we began to build them into an audience of people who are now, because attention is, where I'm focused on you. Attention, I mean, audience is, I'm listening to you. I'm hearing you. I'm receiving from you. And so how do you turn them into an audience? And so that's where we created our blog, right? And that became a place where we started to give the audience. And so I think it chose us as much as we chose them. This way of right now, if you're looking at 2020, the 21st century and where we are today, you want to be smart about putting a business where people are.
Right. Yeah.
And so it makes no sense to put a business where people are not, and people are online every single day, billions of people. Yeah. And so that's kind of what happened there in terms of us going all in. I don't think we were thinking strategically about it. It's just that's where the people were showing up. Yeah.
I'd love for you to go into that a little bit more, because I find a lot of people, even including myself, one, you can have imposter syndrome, right? Regardless. But secondly, I can't tell you how many times people are like, and there's already somebody doing that. Or there's too many, it's too big, there's too much space out there that it's intimidating for me to want to get into the online space, leveraging a platform, leveraging an audience. Yeah. Like, speak to that of why. I mean, one, it's an excuse. Sure. I mean, that's first and foremost.
Man, I'm going to tell you, people get this wrong every single day. Because the uniqueness, or I would say, if you want to preach a quote, your dollar is in your difference.
Woo!
Your dollar is in your difference. But here is the concept here, because where people get it twisted is they begin to think, well, I've got to do something different. That's where people go wrong.
Wow.
Everyone is already doing that.
Yeah.
So let me find something that's different.
Gotcha.
And now take that to market. And I promise you, that is the fastest way to fail. Because if you try to go find something different that no one else is doing, you got to now ask the question, why isn't anyone doing this? More than likely,
it's probably not working.
Nobody wants it. Nobody desires it. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
So the framework here is not to find something different. It's actually to find something that everybody's already doing and you be different.
Oh, okay.
How can
That's
you
good.
do this in a different way? Because no one has your DNA, no one has your story, no one has your
Right.
unique approach. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, there are certain things that are working right now in the online space that a lot of people are doing, but no one can do it like you. So find something that you can do uniquely.
Yeah.
That someone else is already doing, which means that it's proven.
Yeah.
For example, if you know you have a crazy, powerful story of getting out of debt, and you have a passion for teaching financial literacy, to say that everyone's already teaching on money. All right, Dave Ramsey's already got the market.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know how many people do not relate to Dave Ramsey
A lot.
that may relate to you?
Yes.
Do you know how many people would love to learn about financial literacy, learn about money? It's something that every single day people are waking up in the morning saying, I cannot believe I spent that much money yesterday.
Yeah.
Jesus, I gotta get this. I gotta fix this.
Yeah.
God help me. God help
Yeah.
me. Every single day, you want to find a problem that not only people are having a hard time going to bed at night thinking about, but it's also the first thing to think about in the morning.
Wow.
You, in the business that I'm in, is you don't want to find a problem that requires you to go upstream. You want to find a problem that allows you to go downstream because it's something someone is thinking about.
That's so good.
And most of the time, you're going to find somebody else has already found it.
Yeah.
But they may not be able to solve it the way you solve it.
Just like exactly how you. That is so good. My brain wants to go.
I know.
I think because it helps me because
Yeah.
it's like, again, we're doing Faith Hustle and there's a lot of business podcasts. There's a lot of business Christian podcasts out there. I think we're doing it a little differently, but I have to, instead of me trying to reinvent the wheel.
Why?
It's just like follow people. That's why I hang out with you. That's why I'm like, we worked together on a recent project and I'm asking you questions. I'm like, man, this is possible, and it's like, I think sometimes here's what I think we get wrong. I think everybody wants to be innovative, and like innovation was such a buzzword for so long that we're like, we're going to reinvent everything.
If you're going to do it, you better have a whole lot of money.
Yes. A lot of capital.
Okay. You better have a whole lot of money, or you better have a whole lot of network, a huge network. So in order to be successful, right, you either, in terms of innovating a market, of trying to get something to market, right, we think about it. Let's think about an Elon Musk, where he innovated a market of electric cars.
Right.
That wasn't something he's like, you know what?
Right.
I'm going to do this, and this is about, why could he do it?
He already made his money with PayPal.
Talk about it, bro. He already made money before.
He put everything in it.
And he put everything in it. It took a massive amount of resources. So that most of the time, if you're looking at these people who have innovated full markets, it's because they actually had the resources to turn a market towards that, right? And so, I'm sorry, most of us solopreneurs, we not sitting with millions upon millions upon millions of dollars from a previous company that we exited that we can now go create a whole new market.
Exactly.
And so we have to tap into markets, not create markets. And we do tap into markets by creating our own market, by finding pain points that are already existing. And that's the way we go about it. And so when it comes back to us, we found and there's a book that people can read called Blue Ocean, right? And so the concept is, how do I find a blue ocean? The blue ocean, and is another way of it's the same term of the riches and the niches.
Gotcha.
Right? And so with us, when it comes to relationships, it was an overcrowded of a lot of people teaching relationship content, being relationship coaches, but majority of the people in our space were focused on married couples. So we said, hey, cool, we're going to focus in on singles.
Gotcha.
Right? A lot of people are already in relationships, but how do we do it uniquely to our story?
Right.
And our story was not, we got, blessed with crazy amount of
Yeah.
mentors and support and help in our marriage season that saved us. No, we turned to God in our single season and began to get the support and help, and that changed everything. So what if we were to support singles before they get married?
Yeah.
And the quote came out of that was, everything you do before you say I do is preparation for marriage. Well, if we can help them prepare for marriage, maybe we can help them save them from divorce. And that's where we went in. And
you found your mission within that. Yeah.
And found a mission, and that's where we...
Man, that is... And obviously I want to go deeper into how you guys... Because you guys do these things called launches, and I want to get into the mechanics of that. But when I heard this as you were saying this, to be a leader, you have to first be a follower. And if you want to be a leader in a category and a leader in the industry, you have to first follow. And I think, there's that one quote that says, success leaves clues. It's like, sometimes we just want, like you said, like we want to be so different, so innovative, and yet we're going in circles. And it's like, if you would just like humble yourself and either learn from someone,
period,
ask someone, hey, how did you do this? Give me step by step game
people
plan.
Always ask me, how do I find a business coach or find a business mentor? I always say, do not go find someone that just has been successful. That's the first thing people think. Let me go find somebody that's just successful. No, you need to find someone that is being successful at exactly what you want to do. Because the process by which they went to, you need to be able to learn it and replicate it until you find your own way. If you go trying to find someone that hasn't done what you're trying to do, their process is going to throw you off. And you're going to lose years of hitting your head just because they were successful, but they were successful at something that you aren't trying to do.
That's so good. Now, I want to get into these launches you guys do, these launch campaigns. And obviously I want you to explain what it is, but they're these focused times where you have a digital product or some sort of coaching program or whatnot, and you're intensely going at it for a few weeks. Obviously it's months of prep, but a few weeks. I'd love for you to get into it. And I love, one, how'd you even stumble upon that? And finding a model that works to build momentum for an online business model. And then what the success has come from that. But I'd love to explain what it is first, and then,
so, I mean, every product, every company has some point where they are highlighting a brand new product, right? I can give an example. When Apple is doing its, day of revealing in terms of, I'll never forget. And I remember being a high school kid when Steve Jobs did the reveal of, the first iPhone, right? And
I remember.
He's presenting it and breaking it down, and he's building this anticipation of breaking down the features, and that build up, that was like a product. It was what we call a product launch, right? Going back to Elon, whenever he's revealing a new Tesla, and he's like, I remember when he did the Cybertruck, he was like, guys, this is the Cybertruck. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it can do. It's indestructible. I remember him taking a sledgehammer to it, right? Like, that was a form of a product launch. So in terms of coming back to my beginning genesis with product launches, was I came from the church world. In the church world, we did conferences. We do conferences. We do big conferences every single year. And that's what I knew how to do. And whenever we were in our season of struggling and, and trying to figure out how to make money from this online business we started, I remember just being like, what if we did a conference? And so our first online conference, was called Sex Without Sheets, where we were teaching married couples how to have great sex. We brought on some America's top marriage experts and said, hey, we're a brand new married couple. We've been married for 6 months, right? We were virgins. We had never been taught how to have great sex. Teach us.
Wow.
And what's so cool is that we also had, apparently, we were not the only ones. Right? So hundreds of other people were like, we'll pay for that. And that was our first, I would say, like, online event that I learned. If you can build an event online and get people to attend, you can make money. So if I can learn how to just get better at this, and so definitely there's, scale. There's levels to this. So at the basic level today, I would consider myself a product launch expert today, right? In terms of if you are like trying to launch a digital product online, I have done it for the last 8 years to the degree that I've made negative money, lost money on product launches, and I've made upwards of $3.3 million on product launches in a matter of a 2-month runway. Which means that in 2 months, we're going to go from, hey, everybody, we're doing this online event, in X amount of time, come hang out with us. It's going to be X amount of days. And within that moment of saying hello, come hang out, people register, and then they come to the event, and then they hear about the product, they buy the product, and then they're in the product. That entire span of going from, all right, cool. It takes about 90 days of work in terms of a heads down, my team focused on it, and so, but from the point of us doing level 1 is definitely just I would say someone going live and just talking about their product. That's like a level 1 easy product launch. And then you can go all the way up into what we just did, right? Where it was like a 2-week event process.
Right.
And so the goal in a product launch is to just bring and highlight your product. And the quote here is, great marketing makes selling superfluous. Great marketing makes your selling superfluous to the degree that you don't have to sell. If I've marketed well, when I offer my product, I don't got to beg you to buy it.
It's doing it for
because we've already done the work.
Yeah.
And the work has been done to where what happens, most people, this is what they look like when they haven't done great marketing. Guys, please, will y'all just support me? We've been so hard. I've put the last year writing this book. And man, I'm telling you, it's going to change your life, guys. I just would love to have your support, please. And you just hear the begging because they haven't done the proper marketing to the moment where people are lined up, ready to buy. The moment you just wave it in their hand.
Right.
And so that's the beauty of a great product launch, is where you don't have to sell. You just have to offer it.
It sells itself. That is, man. I want to, for some people, this is brand new to them. So explain what a digital product can look like.
So, I mean, this can be anything, when we're coming into the education space, a digital product is anything that does not require a physical, thing to purchase, a physical thing to consume it. Right. And so this is everything in terms of, most of us today know what these things are. We got digital courses, which is basically a information packed program that you can go through at your own pace. Right. That's a digital course. Or it could be a coaching program. This is where you're going to be actually getting information from the expert and being guided through the program with them. That's a coaching program.
And that could be a one-on-one or in a group or whatnot, or virtually.
It can be a group coaching program. It can be a one-on-one coaching program. So those are different variations of it. Or it can be what we call a mastermind. A mastermind is where you're saying, hey, I'm going to gather a certain caliber of people, and you're going to get me plus them. And that's what we call a mastermind. So there are different types of digital products that people can create. And memberships, that's one of my favorites, is where people pay you every month for access to curriculum, access to community. And so these are different products that you can have.
That's so, I mean, it's very practical, but sometimes you have to think about it, because I think anyone can limit themselves if they think, oh man, I don't have anything that anybody would want, or how can I turn what I'm doing into a digital product? What's your first step of how you usually recommend?
So I have people ask this question: what is something that I've struggled at to learn how to do? And I can ask you, McQuinda, what is something that you've struggled to learn how to do, but once you learn how to do it, it changed everything for you?
Oh, you're asking me. Oh, yeah. I mean,
live on the call.
Live on. I mean, there's a few for sure.
That's what that's what happens, right? It starts off with a few. Give me your few. Doing video.
How to storyboard videos. How to build a video business. How to get clients. I'm trying to think of what else. Those are the big things.
Cool. Right? So more than likely, when you said those two things, you can ask your audience, hey guys, based upon, I just answered it to Jamal, which one would you be interested in me talking more about? I'm pretty sure you probably would get some feedback. I would probably say it would be, how did you build a video business? Right? And you could give me some now feedback on, hey, what was the struggle that you had? Right? And so we call this a circle of purpose. Circle of purpose. And the circle of purpose starts with the problem, the struggle. Hey, what was the problem? What was the struggle? What I'm assuming is that you were a freelancer, videographer, had
broke.
Making no money. Probably going from gig to gig, here to here, here to here, and you're like, man, I got to figure out how to make this into an actual agency, an actual business. Problem. And then, now you work through the circle of purpose. Once you find the problem that you were able to solve, then it's now figuring out, well, what other people are struggling with this. So just to kind of break into it, the easiest business to start online in forms of education is you focusing on who you were 3 to 4 years ago. Who was I 3 to 4 years ago, and what was I struggling to learn how to do? And that's where you went into yours. And so the next piece, once you figure out who it's for, so you would detail that one, then you would go into what we call proficiency. Well, what were the things that I did to get out of that struggle?
Yeah.
What was the catalyst that was able to help me get on the other side?
Right.
That if I was to tell someone else, because
what shifted, yeah.
Yeah, the key in a successful online business is not to tell people exactly what you did. It's to say this: hey guys, so listen, how long did it take you to build a successful video business?
It took me probably 3 years.
Okay, so your message would be, hey guys, listen, so it took me 3 years to build a successful video business, but knowing what I know now, if I was to help you start from scratch, I can help you do it in a year.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
See how that's what people pay for. I don't want it.
Hey, listen, this ain't for y'all, this for me.
I don't want it to take 3 years.
Yeah.
It didn't have to take 3 years, but because I didn't have nobody helping me, guiding me, and I didn't know a few short streets, I'm going to help you do it. Now they're going to say, I'm willing to pay for your shortcut.
Yes.
The key in a successful online business is teaching people how to do what you did easier and faster. That's the success point.
That's good.
Hey guys, listen, man, God told me, I was like, God, where's my wife? God's like, you're so focused on getting married, you have no idea what it takes to stay married. Well, guess what, guys? It took me 2 years to figure out how to stay married.
Yeah.
But I can help y'all do it in 90 days.
Wow. So your people are finding themselves in your story based on the problem that they had of where you were 3, 4 years, however long ago, and you're just putting them because somebody is dealing with that problem.
Yes.
Someone's in that.
Yep.
That's
so
good.
Once you go from circle of purpose, not circle of purpose. Once you go from people, then you go into proficiency, which is what we talked about in terms of what was your process, and now how can you help somebody do it faster and easier. Now we're going to put that into a product, and that's where you decide: do I want to do a coaching program? Do I want it to be a course? Do I want it to be a membership? What product fits for where I want to serve my people?
For sure.
And then a profit. How do I now launch this to make money and get in front of people and do it the way that? And most people, I will tell you, creating a product is very easy. Launching a product is very hard. No one thinks about the launch.
And no one thinks about it.
Man, if I can just create a course, I'll be rich. Man, I gotta figure this thing out, man. I gotta get my course done, man.
Yes.
Everyone is constantly all they're thinking about. And some people don't even just create the course, but they'll create it and then they realize it's the same thing writing a book. I wrote my first book and I thought I was going to be filthy rich. I was like, call me Dr. Jamal Miller. Game over. It is time.
Move over, Oprah.
Move over, Oprah, Dr. Phil, all y'all jokers, man. Listen, I'm coming for it, right?
Yeah.
And so wrote my first book. Man, we made maybe $300.
Wow.
And I was like, time out.
Yeah.
I have an audience of 40,000 people.
Right.
What happened? I didn't know how to launch it.
Man. That's so... I think there's so much there. One, I hope y'all are seriously taking notes of all those steps you mentioned of the purpose and finding the pain and finding the solution, all those different things. I want to get in a little bit on that because I deal with that all the time in my business. I'll produce a piece of content for someone, and usually the question I always ask them is like, do you have a distribution plan? Do you have a plan after this is done? And a lot of times they don't. They're just like, oh, we made it. And so because I spent money on it and I spent time and effort into it, people are obligated to purchase it. It's like, no, like you said, you have to spend just as much time in what you made in the behind the scenes of a plan to push it.
Yes, sir. And
it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be one post.
No.
It has to be, because now you guys have cracked the code. Y'all do ads and you do organic. Obviously there's not an ads coaching thing, but just what are all the elements that go into a launch that you are putting in place? Yeah.
So, there's like, when I walk through them, you can count the phases. I'm pretty sure I'm like, there's like 4 or 5 key phases to a launch process, what we first call pre-launch.
Yeah.
So pre-launch is phase, first, before we even get into pre-launch, we're getting into build. So build is where I'm working with my team and we're building out all of the assets needed for the launch, right? What strategy, what type of launch are we going to do? How long is it going to be? All the different things, right?
Yeah.
And so once we do strategy and we build, then we're going to go into pre-launch. And this is where, we begin to put out teasers on social media. We begin to tease our email list. We begin to let them know that something's coming.
So it doesn't have to be done yet. It's just saying, hey, we are working behind the scenes.
Yeah, we're just bringing them in on it. We don't want it to be a surprise.
Yeah.
Like, hey, surprise. No, it's like, no, like, hey guys, listen, we're so excited. We got this dope event coming up.
Yeah.
That's pre-launch, right? And then once we get into what we call our invite phase. In invite phase is where now we are turning on the dusters and we are inviting as many people as possible that fit that launch,
Gotcha.
In terms of what we're trying to bring people into. And so that's going to be usually a 5-day masterclass or a 3-day challenge or, some form of a multiple day event where we're able to talk about a very specific issue and the problem that we can solve for them and how they can solve it, right?
Yeah, and you're teaching,
that's the, that's like the invite phase is definitely more inviting them to join.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to be hitting up organic, which is what social media. But we have something that we do that is very, I would say we would not be where we are today without it. Many people don't even know the power of it. They know about it. They've heard about it.
Yeah.
But yes, you mentioned it, paid ads. So that I would tell you, I would not have a multi-million-dollar business without leveraging the power of paid media. And I've learned it at a high level, so this previous launch, to give you the numbers, right? It was a $1.1 million launch, but we spent $140,000 on ads because we don't have a massive, and it's encouraged some people.
Yeah.
Well, it may discourage a few folks because they'll say, well, Jamal, I don't have a big audience and I don't have $100,000, right? And so I didn't start with $100,000, right? I started in the very beginning. I started with $50 and I learned how to take $50 and turn $50 into $200.
Come on.
And then from $200 to $2,000 and then from $2,000 to $10,000. And we kept growing, and clearly I've been in the game for 8 years. Right. And so we set a goal of how many people we need into our launch to make it successful. And so we do the invite phase, and then we have our actual, we call it our connect week and our engage week. This is where we're engaging with those people and we're helping to solve a problem for them. And the idea is if we can solve a problem for them for free, how much more would they want to join our product? And that's the power of a good launch, is where you solve a very specific problem. So for example, if I was doing a launch on how to build a digital course, right? So I have this product that I'm selling on how to help you get your first digital course built.
Right.
That's the product. Well, I may do a launch around how to validate your course idea. Because before you're all in on launching a course, you want to be confirmed or confident that you have a good idea. So we'll spend 5 days just teaching you how to validate. So at the end, you're like, yo, I think I
have something.
I think I have something. I'm gonna give this guy. I'm joining his program. Versus if I would just came out with, hey, I want to build a course. And you're like, well, I'm not sure because I don't know if I got the right idea. Oh, I'm not sure because I don't know. You're all these questions. Well, all those questions are things we're going to deal with in the free launch to make it to where we're going to destroy those objections and make it be a clear path to why you need this program.
Oh, that's brilliant. And
that fits anything.
Because I think sometimes, even for myself, that shifted my paradigm because I'm thinking, give them your best in that time frame. And it's like you do, but you take them in baby steps.
Yeah.
Of like
they're not ready for everything.
Right. And you almost have to test if they are even, what their capacity is, if they be ready to take that next step. I love that. That is, man, there's so many good.
So yeah, once we get through, you got invite phase, you got engage week, and then you got sales week, and then you got your, fulfillment. And so in terms of fulfilling the product.
Gotcha. And then that's where they buy it, and you already, whether you have a software in the back end or it's a Zoom thing, a mastermind, whatever, you're fulfilling.
The goal is you're not here to just collect people's money.
Yeah.
Because the way to build a business is to build ambassadors in your business. And ambassadors come because you've changed their lives.
Oh, I love that. Man, many good gems.
You've gotten them results.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, you will forever remember someone that got you results.
Yes. So the question I have is this. There are a lot of people that can sometimes, have a little bit of uneasiness to go into the online space because, and whether it's courses, digital products, because I think a lot of times, and I think it's an excuse, but I think there are a lot of people that do not fulfill and they do not like stay true to their word, or they're just like, there's not really any value there. They're just saying a lot of buzzwords, and I think people can get, I don't even want to touch that. What would you say to that person that's like, kind of they feel like it's a little shady, that world, and they're not sure if they want to touch it?
Yeah. Be the solution. So it's the same thing that happens in any space. We can start off with what I'm sure everybody here is very familiar with. The church space is full of churches that talk a good game.
And they don't deliver.
They don't deliver. So you mean to tell me if God's called you to plant a church, you're not going to plant a church because you don't want to be like those guys?
Yeah.
Come on now. If God's called you to do this, that's where your starting point is that this is a call of obedience, not just a good idea. Because more than likely, if you are going to do online business because it's a good idea, you're not going to make it. The only thing that will sustain you in this is that God called you into it, and you feel a genuine connection to help those people that you feel burdened to serve and burdened to help. Right? Jesus didn't come to the earth because it was a good idea.
Yes.
He came to the earth because it was an assignment to redeem and reconcile us unto him.
Yes.
And that's what the Bible says, for the joy set before him, he endured the cross.
Yes.
He endured pain, struggle, hardship, because he knew that there is a moment that we're going to be together with him.
Yeah.
And it was worth enduring it for that point. What is your point of joy?
Wow.
In starting an online business?
For the joy set before.
What is the joy that you would say? Is it that you can be in a room with all the people that you've served and to be able to say, hey, oh my goodness, this is my legacy?
Yes.
One thing I used to always say to people is, imagine, in 100 years from now and you're in heaven.
Oh,
right?
Man.
And God is giving you an opportunity to meet all the people you changed.
That gets me emotional now.
How long would your line be?
Wow. Man. Yeah.
And why would they be in line?
Man.
Would it be that business that you were supposed to start that you never did? Like, this is the question, right? In terms of the impact, we're not here to just make an income.
No.
Right? I'm not here just for an income. Income is great. It is definitely a motivator. And that's, I believe, hear me when I say this. Some of y'all be like, well, I want to be careful, man, with being motivated about making money. God created money to motivate us to change lives.
Come on.
He literally created something that is valuable because he knows us inside and out.
Yes.
And money is needed to take care of the things that we do here on this earth.
He put gold in the earth before he made man.
Come on now.
That's look at Genesis.
And so God literally has set it up that if you do the things to serve people, you will be blessed.
Wow.
Does that mean monetary all the time? Absolutely not.
Yes.
Please don't hear me when I say that you're doing everything to make money. But what I am saying is, if you look at anybody, name off the richest people on this planet, and we can connect back to how they changed this world.
Wow.
Every single person, you make a list somehow, some way, and their change may not be this like changing of the but they in some way were able to shift.
Yes.
Move people into a new dynamic, a new way of thinking, a new way of operating, right? Mike Tyson, yes, he changed the world. Why? Because he was able to help people to stand strong in their gift mix and their abilities and their nature, right? Knocking people out, right? How many kids have been motivated to go out there and do boxing because of Mike Tyson, right? And so we can talk about all kinds of different people, and that's probably maybe not even the best example, but the reality is I'm just more putting back to the fact that God has set money up in our world to motivate us to find some way to change a life. Yeah. Because that is the only way that I believe is the best way to make money, is to change lives.
Absolutely. And why you're doing it. Like my dad always used to say, and I mean, not even just him, but just being in the church for so long, if you don't love people, this is like, whether it's ministry, this is not for you. Like especially if we're talking educational businesses or a digital product where you're coaching someone, if it doesn't give you butterflies or that feeling of like, man, I come alive helping somebody. Yeah. You're doing it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I say it like this. If you don't love people, you're not going to love doing what it takes to serve them. Why did Jesus do what he did? Because he loved us. Yes. And he endured it because he loved us. So you need to have a connection point to your people to the degree that you're willing to do the things necessary to serve them. And that's going to require learning them, building a platform, getting out there on social media, being consistent, putting out your thoughts, drawing them in. You don't need tens of thousands of people to be successful on the online space. You don't need to be a quote unquote mega influencer to be successful in the online space. You just need 100 people that know, like, and trust you. And my friend, do the math. 100 people times $1,000, that's pretty good money.
Yeah. That's so good. Okay.
And you may say, well, Jamal, what am I going to sell for $1,000? It don't got to be $1,000. It can be $30. I built a $1.1 million business on $30 a month and $397 a year. Who can't afford that?
Yeah. Man. Whoo, that's so good. Okay. Last question here. And this is, we're going to veer off a little bit, but it's honestly one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on. Again, one of the things I've told people this on the podcast. I got really good advice from other podcasters. They told me, only make episodes you would listen to and only bring people on that you admire. And the one thing I admire about you and your wife is how you've built the business around your family.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're a part of it, they're joining in it. You're not inconveniencing them.
Yeah.
At least from what I witnessed. And I was just like, man, I literally walked away from that. I was like, yeah, I'm going to figure out how to build like that. And build in a way, like we did this virtual masterclass, which you talked about, that did 1.1 million gross. And your kids were just hanging out. They were just there and we're having fun. And I'm like, it wasn't a separate building. You were able to do it in your home. And I'm like, man, like there's so many tools and we're not leveraging, but obviously that comes at it's not just a cost, but I love to learn, honestly, myself, and for people listening, like what does it take to get there? Or what are the things that you guys had to put in place to not only make that a priority, but even just to make it work, of including your family and your family life in the business that you've built?
Yeah, man, it's very simple. The revelation that we have is that we are a team. We're not a, organization. We're not a business. And sometimes I think we embrace the concept of family, to a degree that it's actually not helpful. Because with family, we're like, well, with a family, this is my family stays over here and this is my business.
Yeah.
Right? But as a team, hey, we work together. We move together. We operate together. We are a team.
Yes.
So just begin to see your family like that and that dynamic, and I think you'll start to incorporate them, how we working together as a team, And so our kids are a major motivator to us, in terms of why we do what we do.
Yeah.
And as well, I also see this scripture point when the Bible says that I leave an inheritance to my children's children. The first thought that we think about for that scripture is that I leave money. No, that word inheritance it goes far beyond money.
Wow.
I leave an inheritance is even also saying I leave a way of living.
Ooh, I never knew that.
Right? And so we want to leave a way of living to our kids, and that starts today. Most people think I'm going to wait until I save $1 million so I can leave an inheritance to my kids' kids, and we think that's going to happen in 50, 60 years versus no, today you're already leaving an inheritance by teaching your kids how to live, how you operate, your values. And so for me right now, I think one big revelation that is glaring that our generation is losing is the theology of work. Yes. We view work as something that's begrudgingly being done that you don't enjoy, and we're like, guys, it's just everybody has to work. The way we talk about it, and I want our kids to say, no, work is worship.
Wow.
I was made to work.
Yes.
I was born to work.
Yes.
Before God did anything in the earth, he told Adam, I want you to take dominion over this garden.
Yes.
He didn't ask Adam to worship first. He asked Adam to work first.
Yes.
So I need to feel, why do we not get excited when we get asked to work? It's because we don't have a good revelation of it. So right now, I'm teaching my kids to value work. Man. Hey guys, listen, watch mommy and daddy work. Right. Here's what mommy and daddy do for work. So we're putting that constantly in front of them because we do believe that this is a part of our mandate of our inheritance to leave them is that they will begin to be the carry-on of this new way of operating in terms of work in our generation and our family, that we don't look at it as something that it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just be on the beach and be rich. Because it'll be very easy for our kids, because we are successful, to have a whole lot more money whenever we die than I will have when my parents die.
Yeah.
So how do we make sure that they don't see work as something that you don't have to do once you got money?
Right.
Because most people see work as a prison cell for their parents not giving them enough money, or them not having enough money to be able to do whatever they want to do.
Yes.
Versus I see work as the opportunity for me to partner with God to be who he's called me to be on the earth.
Come on. Just dropping dimes. No, I think that is so crucial. And I think part of it is like, I mean, it's said you catch more instead of what's just being taught. You catch it by seeing it, right? And you know, for your children, it's like, yeah, they're seeing you in what you prioritize, in what you do. Your daughter's right here with us. You know, it's like, it's amazing. Like, I love that. And I think, I you know, the goal of this podcast is to talk on these things, on these values. It's we'll get into the nitty gritty of how to build a business, all these different things. But at the end of the day, it's like you said, what are we leaving?
What are we leaving, bro?
How are we impacting people and our own family? I love when you said that inheritance is not just money; it's the way of living, and that has to be modeled.
Yes,
like it's not just like, hey, let me sit down and tell you why work is important.
And that's a part of it too. You know, you definitely do. I think every parent should consider having a YouTube channel. Every single parent, because imagine how valuable it would be in 100 years,
man, that
your great grandson would be able to put your name in the YouTube
and watch something that you made. Yeah.
You don't have to do it to build an audience.
Yeah.
Unlist it.
Yeah.
But just put a camera in front and just talk and just give them principles, because
that's brilliant.
Won't, like, imagine if your great-great-grandfather right now, you could Google his name in YouTube. YouTube and find his 100 videos from him of him talking about principles that guided him and kept him.
Yeah.
How valuable would that be to you?
Man. It'd be, huge. There's so much history. There's so many maybe mistakes that I could have avoided, and just, you know, man, that is so wise. Honestly, I'm about to do that with my dad. I'm putting you in front of this camera, just talk.
Just talk.
That's actually been funny.
How much you talked about your dad, I'm sure he is a man of immense amount of wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure he would love a project like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Dad, can you just every day with your cell phone record a piece of wisdom for me?
Yeah.
Until, for the next, whatever. Take 5 minutes every day. And I'm going to put it up on a YouTube channel, because I'm not doing this for me, because I got you.
For my kids.
But I want my kids and my great-grandkids to be able to experience you the way I have.
Man, Dad, if you're watching, I know he watches every week. He texted me this morning.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. Thank you, bro, for coming. Seriously. Thank you for the wisdom.
Like, Mel. I want them to see you.
Yeah, come on in.
He texted, come on over.
Come on over.
Here.
I love it. Come on, legacy. Come on, inheritance.
So this is Melody, everybody. She is one of 3. And so she is coming to work with Daddy today. And we had her older sister. Say hello to everybody. This girl's got a word in her belly.
Come on now.
You hear me? She's got a word in her belly, and she knows how to preach the word. And so, Melody, give them a little something. Say a little hello.
Say something.
What's God saying to you right now?
Okay.
What's God saying to you?
God saying to me.
Talk in the mic.
God saying to me right now, that
Encourage them. Encourage the people.
He will never leave us.
Come on now.
He'll always be there for us, and he will I didn't know the other ones.
You did good.
That's a great word. Come on now. Come on. I love it. Man, thank you. Thank y'all for coming, for real. Such an inspiration. And we're going to have you come again.
Cool.
We're gonna have you come
I love
again,
it,
man. And
Thanks
we gotta
again.
bring Natasha next time.
Yeah, let's do it, bro.
Absolutely.
We can jam, man. Well, thank you so much again. I love your
Is Mr.
platform.
Haley
Love what
gonna
you're
have to
doing.
watch us?
And man, hold on, man. She over here talking about something. If mommy ain't comes, who's gonna be watching that?
Yeah. She's like,
it.
she's asking specific questions.
Yeah, you're like, now time out. But yeah, bro, once again, man, thanks a lot for the opportunity, and I'm excited for what God's doing through you, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you for watching this week's episode of the Faith Hustle Podcast. We hope it encouraged you, equipped you, and got you ready for your faith hustle. If this is something that resonates with you and you want to join this community, we encourage you to subscribe to the podcast, whether it be on YouTube or on any audio platform that you listen to. Also, subscribe to our email newsletter. We put out tips every week to help your business. And lastly, if this podcast has been any encouragement to you, we want to ask if you can leave a review for us. It really helps us to get to more people so more business owners can be impacted by the community and the message. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.